Yo, what's up, guys? Teacher Paul here, and today we're reacting to a coffee request. This one comes from Susan. It's an educational video, and we're going to learn about the traditional Swedish axe making by hand. So we actually reacted to a video of a Finnish cabin being made, and they used only the axe, which is absolutely amazing. And now we're going to see the traditional Swedish axe making by hand. It's a craft with roots in the Viking Age. This is the message from Susan. Skilled blacksmiths forge the axe head by heating high carbon steel and hammering it by hand, carefully welding a harder steel edge to a softer iron body. And this is for strength and durability. The head is then fitted to a hand-shaped wooden handle, often birk, continuing a tradition focused on balance, sharpness, and long-lasting use. This is a video of how it's made. So let's check this out, and we're going to discover right now how traditional Swedish axe making is made. This is from a channel called Freedoc Bites. Link is in the description if you want to check it out. Let's learn. Let's go, guys.
Since the beginning of time, people have been creating things. Some products even attain cult status. But why? What is their secret? Handmade axes from Sweden. We check out their cult potential.
Nice.
Eye. This is the name of the opening that makes the handle and head into one unit.
Eye.
The beard. It provides balance and strengthens the axe.
Beard.
The bit. An ancient forging technique makes it particularly sharp. The handle. The Swedes swear by flexible hickory wood. For 110 years, the Gränsfors Forge has been producing axes like this in the traditional way.
Dang, the Viking
Among
way.
forest workers, they're considered the epitome of a cult tool. World record holder and German wood chopping champion Robert Ebner explains to us what makes them so special.
I knew it. I didn't remember, but I knew they had this wood chopping competition. Now I remember after he said that. That's pretty cool. That's something we could check out as well.
Every blacksmith has his initials here. I really have a unique tool in my hand, not something that comes off the production line. So yes, this axe really is cult.
Nice.
But where does this cult originate?
Oh, nice red cabin.
A winter's day in Bergsjö. Just about 330 kilometers north of Stockholm, a very specific rhythm characterizes the region.
Nice.
It's the hammering from the Gränsfors Forge, one of the last in Europe that still forms steel by hand.
Yo, I love the background music. Sounds so much like Lord of the Rings.
This is the story of a blacksmith and his craft.
Nice.
Over 40 years of experience hammering precisely in time. Lars Enander knows the value of his work.
There's a special feeling in owning something that's made by hand.
An axe is born in fire. Lars first has to heat up the steel to about 800 degrees. His experience tells him when the time is up.
He knows by the feeling.
Helping him in the forge today, his assistant, Ulrika Stridsberg.
It's so
First,
epic.
They have to shape the axe eye. This is the name of the opening through which the handle will later come. Lars places the so-called spike exactly in the middle. Everything.
Wow. The trust he has in her. Look at that. That's his hand right there. And that's her holding is it a sledgehammer? Look at that.
Lars places the...
And she hits it with precision. Look at that. Look at how close it is from his fingers. That's the trust you have. That's the trust you got to have with your colleague, the person that you're working with. It's so nice.
This is the name of the opening through which the handle will later come. Lars places the so-called spike exactly in the middle.
Nice.
Everything now has to fit precisely, because if the axe becomes asymmetrical, its balance would be lost and a breaking point would be inevitable. The eye is already perfect. All that's needed now is the right handle.
Nice. That's huge.
The owner of the forge, Gabriel Brandby, plans the axe handle together with blacksmith Lennart Pedersen, kneeling down and drawing on the floor with chalk. No joke. This is what product development is like in Bergsjö.
You're kidding
handle
me.
that Gränsfors develops for its axes was designed in this way.
On the floor. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. That's how he plans it out?
However, the forge cannot manage the entire handle production on its own. Gabriel and his team only produced a prototype. This then serves as a template for the large-scale production. This is then done by a partner manufacturer. The
I
Swedes
see.
develop a new handle about every 3 years. Technical approval is a matter for the boss. Gabriel is satisfied. The handle goes into production. Meanwhile, Ulrika and Lars continue to fire up the kiln. The steel has to be put into the embers again and again. It's time to take care of the axe bit.
You need to keep it
To
at
do
the same
this,
temperature,
the
right?
2.5 centimeter thick steel must first be flattened at the front with sheer muscle power.
So you can mold it.
Lars splits the axe edge right in the middle. He wants to forge another kind of steel into it. To do this successfully, he has to heat up the insert to about 1200 degrees, a supremely skilled discipline that only an experienced blacksmith can master. Fire welding. This cannot
Fire
be done by
welding.
machine. This craftsmanship is the decisive advantage for Lars's axes. Precision is needed so that two steels can be forged into one.
Machines can't
There's
do
no
it.
way to measure. I trust my experience and my sense of
Man
proportion.
mäter ingenting. Det är bara ögat så.
The less carbon a steel contains, the higher its melting temperature is. The red-hot insert is soft, low-carbon steel, so it has a high melting temperature. The hard, small piece of steel is rich in carbon, so its melting temperature is low. To prevent the hot or soft steel from burning the hard one, Lars uses borax powder to protect the small piece of steel. This combination of hard and soft steel makes the axe stable at the front and flexible at the back.
This is so cool.
Mass-produced axes are perhaps almost as
This is so cool. We have seen a lot of things in this channel. We've learned things from all over the world. We've seen Korean bows, how it's made. We've seen, the Korean hat. We've seen a lot of different things, like this one right here, the Swedish axe. And it's always fascinating to me. We saw the Finnish cabin also. It's fascinating how humans developed all of this. Inventors, engineers. These are the minds of our species. It's just amazing how they come up with these things, how they figured it out throughout time, every single detail. And not only that, how they mastered the art and the craft, the precision. He said he doesn't even need to measure. It's just all the feeling. It's just, knowing. Amazing. And you only get that with experience.
flexible at the back.
Jag gör det för att...
Mass-produced axes are perhaps almost as good as mine, but the people who buy my axes want the special feeling that this one was still made by hand completely in the traditional way.
And that's what
Each one
makes
is
it
unique.
more
No
expensive.
two axes are the same. And yes, mine are a bit better, because with the fusion method, I can use different steels, so they stay sharp longer.
Nice. And guys, how much is one
The
axe?
fusion of two steels into one structure. This is where Lars has to demonstrate all his skills. Only when the hard core becomes completely one with the soft insert can the master speak of a perfect axe.
Nice. Wow.
This axe will later cost just under 200 euros.
200
Individual
euros.
Custom-made axes can cost up to 400.
400 euros. This is back in the
Now
day.
it's time to shape the blade, evenly and rhythmically, almost like a machine.
Wow. You see it's starting to take shape.
The shaping process involves forming the beard. This leads to the metal atoms being compressed together. They thus form a more stable unit. At the same time, the axe is better balanced and offers a greater contact surface so that the axe handle sits firmly.
That's nice, man.
They
Are you
cut
sure?
off the edge and the axe head is finished. Lars makes between 300 and 400 axes a year. Each one is unique, with a 20-year guarantee.
20-year
Before this axe can
guarantee.
do any work, there's still a lot of work to be done.
He does 300 to 400 a year. Are you sure this guy was not a dwarf in his past life?
Owner Gabriel Brandby.
I'm
takes us
joking.
to
That's a Lord of the Ring reference right there, because they are great at forging axes and they're great smiths. This is really nice. Dang, 20 years guaranteed. That's how good and that's how much trust he has in his axes.
Owner Gabriel Brandby takes us to the Forge's own axe museum. He spends time here almost every day for inspiration. Over the years, the Forge has collected more than 2,000 axes. The
2,000
oldest
axes.
is a 3,500-year-old stone axe.
Wow.
From all parts of the world and from all eras, this house is completely dedicated to mankind's oldest tool. But this here is not just an exhibition of history. The museum has its very own value for the blacksmiths.
What do they have this year?
Det här är vårt yxmuseum.
We call it our axe museum,
Fast
but in reality it's our
verkligheten så är det
database.
vår databas. Sen kan vi titta på den här yxskaftet. Här har
A
någon
good example is this
lösa
old axe.
problemet genom
Here we have another old handle. Someone
Då
wrapped a
lär
piece
vi
of
oss att
tin
det är-
can around the
så tar
handle
vi
to protect it.
Problemet, en lösning och vi utvecklar
We
det.
took this as
Så
an
att vi så
example
småningom
and
får-
gradually developed a metal sleeve for our
lösning.
axes.
Alltså,
Guys-
These old axes
I had no idea there were collectors, axe collectors. Let me know if you are. But then, if this is a cult tool or a cult weapon, it's more of a tool than a weapon. But I'm pretty sure, obviously, in the Viking Age, this was a fine weapon. But it's nice to see that there's a collector market for this as well. And hey, it looks nice. Imagine having some axes hanging on the wall. I understand.
example and gradually developed a metal sleeve for our axes.
alltså,
These old axes
And there are axe throwing events too, right? Like I know that there's a place here, here in the shopping mall. Actually, they closed down, but they used to have axe throwing, which is like darts, but you throw axes. Seems fun. I've never been, but it would be fun.
example and gradually developed a metal sleeve for our axes.
alltså,
These old axes have helped us to improve our own. This
You guys
is just one
tried
example of
axe
how
throwing?
we use our collection.
på det sättet vi
Have you guys tried
använder
axe
vår
throwing?
databas.
The Swedes swear by handles made of American hickory wood.
Really?
Unlike plastic handles, the wooden handle does not transmit the vibrations caused by the blow up into the arm. The fiberglass-like structure also makes it extremely resilient.
It absorbs the vibration, and you don't feel it.
His great-great-grandfather was a blacksmith, and so Lars also had to follow the family tradition. By now, probably thousands of people are happy that his family was so strict, and that they can therefore be the proud owner of one of his axes. The rough grinding is the final step that determines the shape of the axe.
And it keeps it sharp.
Once that's been completed, it's time for hardening. The forging process has made the structure of the steel brittle. The heat brings the atom chains back into order.
Nice. Wow. Look at the water instantly boiling.
The sudden cold shock in the oil results in the atoms forming a
oil.
stable lattice microstructure. It increases the resistance of the axe, but it also creates high tension in the workpiece. Oil does not quench the steel as quickly as water, which means there is less distortion. To allow
nice.
the tension to escape from the steel, Lars uses an old tradition. Instead of putting the axe in a furnace, as is the custom nowadays, he heats a steel block to about 500 degrees. This allows the axe to relax. The axe head is finished, but Lars cannot chop wood with it yet. He still has to grind it first.
Okay. So many commercial breaks, guys. Why?
The Swedish sun is only a brief visitor in winter. Gabriel Brandby takes advantage of the last light to relax while throwing an
Oh,
axe.
there's the axe
He
throwing.
founded the Swedish Axe Throwing
Nice.
Association over 20 years ago.
Nice.
In this region, everything revolves around this cult object.
Bullseye. No, not yet. I saw a video of a guy axe throwing where he threw it, it hit the wall, came back at him, and he ducked. Or was it a lady? I can't remember. Instantly. That could have been tragic.
The next morning. Today is the official birthday of a new axe.
Nice. It's got to be light
Lars
for you to
Enander
throw it,
still has
right?
to sharpen the axe. The steel blank finally becomes a tool, and a pretty sharp one too, as the test shows.
I feel like the weight has to be distributed. Like the head has to be a little bit heavier, right? So that you can handle the weight and balance it. Especially when you swing it, then the force of the head can come stronger and chop the wood. I like it. But you can't be too heavy so that it won't lose balance. It's interesting. They have to have the right weight distribution.
I don't always do this.
Okay, I was gonna ask. He has to grow his hair, his arm hair, to see if it's sharp.
I don't always do this, only sometimes just to show off, but it's a good test.
Just
The axe
shave
head
his
is
beard
perfect,
with it.
but the most important moment still lies ahead of it. The new handle that Gabriel and Lennart designed has now arrived from the manufacturers.
The best way to test sharpness is
Now
with
it's
paper,
time
right?
for axe and handle to be joined together for eternity.
The paper test.
A wedge driven into the center, and nothing shall separate them again. Shaped, tempered, and finally born from the hands of a simple blacksmith.
Nice.
A man and his work. It's the toil and tribulations of one single man that makes the axe a cult object.
That's nice.
But are the axes any better? We've invited two real Swedish woodsmen to find out. Marcus and
It's not
Olle.
in the size, right? It's in the
They will
efficiency.
perform the test, the German DIY store axe against the hand-forged cult object from Sweden. Marcus tests the expensive Swedish axe, Olle the €40 DIY store axe. I think we'll only see a difference when we get to the big logs. The task is simple. The two are supposed to chop small logs for 10 minutes.
Nice.
Both axes seem to manage this without any problem at all. The blades go through the wood like butter. But what about bigger logs? Is the handmade axe not only cult, but also a test winner? Or is it just a luxury no one really needs?
Ooh.
The Swedish axe splits the block. The DIY axe has to pass. But let's be fair, it could be due to the wood or the force used. But for both men, one thing is certain.
The only way you're gonna find out is if they change, right? Change axes and try again.
No one really needs. The Swedish axe splits the block. The DIY axe has to pass. But let's be fair, it could be due to the wood or the force used. But for both men, one thing is certain.
Let's be fair. Do
After
the
a storm
proper
in
test.
Sweden only this winter, we bought cheap axes. After 3 or 4 days, we had to throw them all away. So then we bought some here, and we're still using them.
Nice. Yeah, there's a
A
saying
must
that
for prof-
the cheap comes at an expense. I don't know, I'm translating it, but sometimes cheap stuff becomes expensive. I don't know what the right, if there is a right expression in English. Maybe there is in Swedish. Let me know. But sometimes the cheap comes at an expensive price. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know.
and we're still using them. A must for professionals, not really necessary for hobby users. But isn't that perhaps what makes it a cult?
Yeah, it's a collectible.
Forged with ancient craftsmanship, from the axe head to the handle. Here, people live their passion and devotion to the product. This is how they create a real cult object.
Nice. Do you guys collect
The
cult
handmade
objects?
Swedish axe.
I had no idea this was an expression, a cult object. But let me know how important an axe is to you. Obviously, a lot of people will argue that, axes are extremely, extremely important, especially when you need to get wood. And like if you're in a cabin, you need to get some firewood to heat up your cabin. Obviously, you're gonna need a good axe. But people who live in the city, maybe they're like, what am I gonna use an axe for? But in any case, you can still collect them. And is there any use for axes in an apartment? I don't suppose you can cook with it, right? I don't think so. Unless it's a very small one. I've seen people use the very small axe for cooking videos where they chop the meat and do that. Like outdoor cooking. You obviously could use that. I think everyone in Sweden in the countryside has an axe. Indeed, indeed. Let me know if you have an axe. Let me know in the comments down below. With that said, that was a very insightful educational video. It was really nice to see also how they forged the axe. Really nice to learn, and just the beauty of the craftsmanship over here as well. If you want to request a video just like this one or any other types of videos, go over to Buy Me a Coffee. The link is in the pinned comments. Thank you to Susan for this one. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Keep axing, and I'll see you. Bye-bye.